Hello, hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi, how are you, man?
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, we'll as per usual, we're just gonna chill a little and let people slowly stream in. Okay. In the meantime, I'm just gonna do this. Can you? What are you guys seeing? Are you guys seeing? I'm so sorry. Hang on. I might have done something wrong. No, let me stop sharing. Today I'm flying solo for for a while because the boys are all busy. They will come in later. Cool. Share. Play. Nice. All right. Where's my mouse? So as per usual, before we wait, hang on. Damn, what's going on? Stop. Hang on. I'm all over. Sorry, guys. Let me admit people first. Cool. Cool. Do say hello in the chat group. And tell us where you're from, what do you do, so we get a little bit of an idea of who you are, and also interact with people in the chat. Yeah, say hello to everybody. Get to know each other, not just me, please. Okay. Cool. Lovely. All right. Hi, Bunkiet. Beginner photographer. Okay. What's the definition of beginner? How long have you been doing this? Hey, Wen Hao, the 3D artist, my go-to 3D artist in Singapore. Lovely. Hey, Delvin. You got some competition tonight. I've got some pretty cool CG guys from Indonesia.
I would love to talk to him later.
Awesome.
Elvin, is it? Wait, who?
Huh?
Love to meet the
Yeah.
CG people.
I don't know if they're coming in tonight, but my producers are coming in from Indonesia. They're coming in.
Nice.
Just started. Okay, Bunkiet. What do you shoot, Bunkiet? What kind of stuff do you enjoy shooting? Hey, Dion. Lovely having you again. See some new faces, or rather new names, and some regulars. Hey, Jan. Lovely having you. Everybody meet Jan. He's the most amazing digitech in town. If you need a digitech, he's the man to look for. Attic Digital, ATTIC, ATTIC Digital. Google them. They provide most amazing digital tech services. I went to South Africa last year in December with Jan on an amazing week-long shoot, and he was a legend. He wrangled, I don't know how many terabytes, Jan. A fuckload of terabytes. Yeah. Um, I would have died if I would have done it myself. So yeah. What's a Digitech if you need to know, guys? Digitech is the person that it stands for digital technician. He's the guy that sits over your computer while you're shooting. He or she is the person that ultimately takes care of the files coming in, making sure that everything is coming in and it's sharp, and then he does the wrangling of all the files, backing them up, setting up the computer for you, so on and so forth. So a very, very important aspect on any shoot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's over 2 terabyte. Gosh, that's how much time in terms of backup every night after the shoot. After a long day on top of that. Yeah. Cool. Just a few more minutes before we start. Let's see if there's anybody coming in. Yeah. We have Adi from Indonesia. He's my producer who helped produce this shoot from 2H Productions. That's the production house that did this entire shoot and made it all possible for me. I will explain a little bit more about our collaboration later, a little bit more. Yeah. All right. Whoa. Lovely. Oh, we got Chuni from Frame by Frame. She's one of my local producers in Singapore from Frame by Frame that represents me here. So if you're keen to find out more about a photographer's representation agency, Google Frame by Frame Singapore. Yeah. Cool. So shy, Nola, please. Producers cannot be shy. Cool. All right. Okay, I guess, let's start. The rest, too bad. All right, cool. Let me get my shit going, okay? Let me get my act together. Hang on. Again, like I said, I'm flying solo tonight, so they will join later. Share screen, desktop 2. Okay. Hi, Kishore from India. Lovely. Awesome. Lovely having you all the way from India. All right, I'm going to share screen now. As you can see, my screen. I'm going to click this. Boom. Let's start. All right, guys. Cool. Another minute. Let me just get my act together again. I just did this a few hours ago. This afternoon for phase 1. It was a global webinar. A bit nerve-wracking to talk on a on a global stage, but it was fun nonetheless. So tonight, doing this is for the community at Raw to make it a little bit more intimate, a little bit more casual, and at least I can loosen the tie a little. You know what I mean? Okay. Hi everybody. Thanks for joining me this week in the first week of phase 2 in Singapore. Right? I'm sure all of you are busy, running around and so on and so forth, which I hope you are selectively doing, to be mindful about what's going on and not, go out guns a blazing, right? Okay. All right. So I would like to, humbly share with you something that I did recently while on a lockdown in Singapore, a couple of weeks back. So remote shooting, right? It all started with a catch up with a friend in Indonesia who used to assist me some 15 years ago when I shot in Jakarta, and now he owns one of the top studios in Indonesia. He himself a very accomplished photographer himself, Harriet, from 2H Productions. He owns 2H Productions. We have Adi. Adi, say hello.
Hello.
Yes, with Adi, who is my
Hello,
my
everyone.
producer from 2H as well. Oh, I need to admit people. Let me see how. Oh, okay, I can do that. Hang on, let me admit as well. Super. So, yes, Harriet is in as well. Perfect timing, Harriet. Lovely. Let me wait for him to connect. And it's his son's birthday on top of that. I'm so sorry. Hey, Harriet, come on, say hi. Yeah. Yes, lovely. Okay. So that's Harriet, the owner and founder and amazing photographer of 2H Productions. And we have Adi, producer from 2H. Okay. So again, going back to what I was saying, yeah. We were talking about him representing me in Indonesia, and being represented in a lockdown is kind of bizarre. As I obviously can't fly over to shoot. So they suggested to do a remote shoot to see how we can work in this new climate in the midst of a pandemic, which I thought was really, really cool. So they planted that idea in me, and we started going in, into great detail into how to execute this in a very efficient manner. So, also I want to say that I'm doing this to be ready for what the foreseeable future might be, as as the situation of the pandemic is rather fluid, and as much here in Singapore we are coming off a lockdown and moving into phase 2, the economy is opening up. I mean, I hate to say this, but and I don't want it to happen, but a second wave could likely happen. And to be honest, I want to be prepared. So as a regional photographer, most of my shoots requires me flying all around the region, shooting in many different countries, and with the current climate, not being able to fly puts a strain on my business. Seriously, it puts a big strain on my business, because that's ultimately the kind of photographer that I am. I don't shoot much in Singapore, so to be honest, I've not shot in the last 3 months, and this was perhaps the one shoot I did over the last three months, which was quite a joy. So it was a high, to be honest. So today, whatever we came up with is frankly nothing new or revolutionary, but the right gear, but with the right gear and software and a little bit of ingenuity and common sense, we came up with some simple and effective ways to work remotely. And on top of that, with the skeleton crew, we managed to pull off some images that, I must say, I'm very happy with, very, very decent results that I can be very, very happy with. So, yeah. So me being in Singapore production, which is a great 898 kilometers away, was fascinating in itself, right? Okay, let me move to the next slide, right? Oh, sorry, going back. Okay, so like any shoot that I do, I plan as much as I can. Here's a previs of the first image in the series that I wanted to achieve using the software by Elixir Set Alight. So with this, I'm able to brief the crew, my producers, the CG team on my technical approach, from lens choices to camera position to even lighting, because we needed to create the computer generated background, the CG background, weeks before the shoot, so that I have something to work with when I'm shooting in terms of grounding the talent, finding an angle. So being able to pre-visualize the shot in terms of angle, in terms of lighting, allows me and everybody on the crew to be very clued in and in the know of things. Yeah. Okay. So this really helps. This is in essence the raw selected image that we did. This was shot with the phase 1 trichromatic 100 megapixel camera, titled to capture one. The image was shot with a 45 wide angle lens. I found that this gives me a very nice intimacy to in terms of the way it's very clean on a zero bubble, which means there's no distortion. As you can see, the lines, the markings on the wall was done so that the CG team knew perspective lines, etc., to follow. All right.
Yeah.
This is the finished image in terms of how it looks from the raw. So if you look back, right, I'll be showing you a little bit more videos later about the process of how this is done as well. All right. If you think about it, the idea that I came up with was ultimately to create a series of images that look somewhat normal, but actually has a visual twist to it. By way of the shadows, it's actually kind of poetic in a sense, because I find that the times that we are living in right now, we are all somewhat alone in seclusion, and we are figuring things out, but in on the surface, that's how we are. But our shadows and the way things exist in us, it triumphs somehow, and that's kind of how I saw this entire series, in terms of how the shadows are actually doing an action, and how we are fighting back, so to speak. Yeah. Hey, hi Brian. Yo. Let me make Brian a co-host so that he can help me admit people. Wait, where are you, Brian? Antelope, is it? Oh, okay. Make co-host. Cool. Okay, you help me admit people, yeah, bro. Okay, Brian, got it? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Thanks. Alrighty, cool. Here is a close-up. This was done with the 80mm lens. Raw image here, retouch image here. The next image, this was a top shot of a girl, of a runner. I wanted to shoot her in different positions, panting, or maybe perhaps drinking water, or splashing water down her face. And I settled with this pose and this action, because I felt it has the most action, in a sense, in terms of motion, because her just catching her breath, or her just drinking water, was a bit boring. Having the splashes on the face, I thought, was a lot more interesting here. So this is the finished image, as you can see. Yeah. Again, she's drinking, but her shadow is running. Or rather, she's cooling herself down, but her shadow is running. So life, keeps going. You know what I mean? In that sense. All right. Here's a raw image, again with an 80mm lens, and the retouch with the CG background. Right. Here's the previs of the next shot. I wanted to create very interesting shadows, not only on the wall but on the floor. So if you can see the bottom right image, I created two white panels to project the shadow on the floor, so that we have a little bit more visual interest, a little bit more lines within the image, as opposed to just one line of shadow, for example, right? So this being the raw image. Yeah, and this being the final image, right? As you can see, in terms of the shadows on the extreme right, and the shadow on the floor, these were all very, very similar to my previous, and how I envision the backdrop, so to speak, right? Okay, and obviously the shadows were all shot very separately. The shadows were all shot separately, to be blended in. Yeah. All right. Cool. So let me share with you the next slide, which is, which is this, another close-up. Yeah. A very nice expression of her, just adjusting her hair again. And that is the finished image. All right. So the next slide I'm going to share with you will be a video that has been put together by 2H Productions of the entire process. And I will walk you through later a little bit more in detail. Enjoy.
Hi Jack, can you hear me?
Okay, stop. Okay, and then pan right. My idea behind the series was to make the viewer do a double take of what looks normal but has a visual twist.
Very good. That's right. Yeah.
I'm going to share screen.
So the background should follow the
Yeah.
photos, right?
Yeah, I think the background can follow this new line. Well, I think, like every shoot that I do when I'm traveling around the world, working with different crew, it's about having a conversation, about briefing my crew, about, laying down my expectations of the shoot. So it's all about communication for me. Telling them of my expectations, of my style of working perhaps. That surely helped, the actual shoot in itself to be that much more productive. Amelia, you are in a perfect position. I just need you to chin down a little bit more. Good. Now chin down. Good. Stay. Love that. Love that. That looks good. Come on. Yes. That's it. Nice. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. More energy. More energy.
Very nice. One more time. That's good. Lovely.
All right, it's a wrap. Thank you. Thanks. See you. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. All right. Perhaps maybe I could just get Harriet to explain a little about breaking normal. Harriet, can you tell us a little bit about the word breaking normal that has became the working title for a remote shoot, and we came up with the word HOOT to represent shoot. So I thought that was really cool. Can you tell us breaking normal and what does it mean for you?
Yeah. For me, just like get out from comfort zone is what I do every single of my life. At the first time I meet Geoff, I'm doing assistant for Geoff. So we meet at one of big studio at Jakarta. So I help Geoff for buy a teh botol every time come. So I start my career from hobbies and growing as a professional. And for me at Indonesia is the what do you call it, the trend of photography is always going far away, but at Indonesia a little bit slow because the market is not too big like that. It's big, but it's not adapting a lot with the trend. So for me, breaking normal is something common for myself, for my company, because we always try to get get out from comfort zone. So yeah, at that time, we start like maybe around the world is same, cannot doing shooting and everything. So I discussed with my team how to do this to make it something. Yeah, we just doing something don't just waiting because we don't know. And
Right.
we try one time with
Right.
one of our client, and we never think it's gonna be very excited. And I talked with Geoff about this, and Geoff bring a lot of insight. Like if you see the left picture over there, there is a grid. That's from Geoff. So that's make us easy to put all the things and direct the assistant to make it direction same
Yep.
like we want.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's it. I think
Awesome. Awesome.
many insight from Geoff to make it this more perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, man. Thanks, bro. I think the whole face breaking normal is also a play on what is becoming the new norm for us, right? So as much as this is the new normal, we want to break normal in itself. So I think that's pretty brilliant in that sense. All right. So talking a little bit about the workstation. So this is my workstation. This is me, my desk at home in my home office. I have two screens. So a live screen on the left with the Zoom software projecting the live stream, so to speak, and on the right I have a Capture One screen. Okay, so that's kind of how the workstation is being set up for me, at least. Yeah. So this is all right. And then moving on, the grid in itself, right? Think about it. One of the biggest difficulties in a remote shoot is telling the crew where to position the camera, the lights, exactly where I needed them to be in the studio. So I came up with this very simple but very effective way of positioning things and people. We placed a projector on the top of the studio with an image of a grid with numbers so that we can move things around and people around in with great precision, and most importantly speed, because a shoot has to be productive in its sense, and coming up with this system allows me to switch on and off the screen. When I'm shooting, I switch off the grid. When I'm framing, when I'm positioning lights, talents, and so on and so forth, I switch it on again. I can effectively move things with real precision. I tell my assistant to move. Okay, if you can see this, let me show you.
Projector on. Okay, Amelia, if you look down on the floor, you can see the grid, right? Okay, I need you to run. I know it's a very small space, right? But let's figure out something. You might need to run from number 16 towards number 7 in that line.
So it's
lovely.
It's as simple as that. When you think about it, right?
Yes, exactly. Something like that. That's
so telling her exactly, running from number 16 towards number 7 was so much easier than telling her, okay, you turn your body a bit to the right, okay, and then you look come back a little bit, okay, and then you look straight, okay, I want you to run towards that. It becomes very complicating. And then her left is my right, and my left is, it gets so complicating so fast, and it can get very frustrating very, very quickly. So, with this simple grid system, I think, that this was one of the saving grace for how we worked remotely very, very effectively. Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Oops, sorry, I'm a bit all over. Is this the right one? Before that? Yeah, the grid. Okay. So the photographer, right? So this is what I see on my live feed screen, on my left screen, right? Which is my live feed screen. So the box here, as you can see, the box here is photographer. Okay. This is from an iPad. If you see over here, there's an iPad over here, right? This iPad allows the talent to see me full screen so that I can interact with them as I were to be there, right? So when the shoot starts, the iPad is placed either behind the camera or to the side of the phase one camera. So it feels as natural as possible for the talent to interact with me. The other live camera, which is what my assistant is holding here, if you see this, he's holding in his hand with the Gorilla Pod. This acts as my eyes and legs on set. So for example, I want to walk up to a light, and then I want him to look up to the light, and then adjust the angle of the head of the light, for example. I can very easily get him to walk towards the light, stand over there, look up, and then show me the angle of the light. So it's my legs and my eyes when I walk around the studio. Because very often when I'm shooting, I like to stand in the position of where the model stands. I like to go, slightly further away from the set, just to see the entire set from afar, to see how things look in terms of the symmetry of my left light and my right light, for example. So this allows me to be walking around with a roving camera, right? To allow me to fine tune whatever I need to fine tune. So, and then I've got a plan view camera, which is coming from the top of the studio. So with these three live feeds, right? Three live cameras, I'm able to have better situational awareness of the set and everything and everybody in it. I can literally see whatever is happening on set. So that's kind of refreshing and quite amazing, because I get to see so many different things at one time. It's almost more amazing than being there itself, because I get to see so many different angles of the same set. So I think that's what's very interesting here. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Here, I will talk a little bit about live view, right? Capture One allows you to have live view, which is something that you can switch on, and then you can see it like a video camera. So Capture One is taken over by me, transmitted via the software called Team Viewer. It allows me to have full control of Capture One, pretty much doing anything in terms of tweaks, adjustments, to anything within the software as if I was there, right? Because I'm moving the mouse myself, right? It allows me to activate live view to frame an image, and then thereafter trigger the image. So I am literally firing off the camera myself. Nobody's touching the camera. I am triggering it myself, right? So here I want to show you. Oh, you know what? I missed the video before. Let me play this video. I'm sorry, guys.
Ready? Okay.
So as you can see here, he's positioning,
Okay,
he's walking
let
around.
me go live feed on the camera, okay? Hang on.
And then thereafter, he moves that roving camera, right, over to the side of the phase one.
Can you stand? Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
yeah.
Can you pull the camera back to 26, 27? Maybe, yeah. Pull it to 26, 27.
Right. So it's that kind of movement that allows me to see how things are happening, like me moving the camera, for example, right, remotely. Okay. So this one I'll share with you, this screen here, with Capture One. Here you see me activating live view, and then you will see, oh shit, and then you will see there. So live view is on, it's activated, it's moving like a video camera now.
Up.
So my assistant is literally framing the shot for me.
Stop. Okay. Very good. Pan left. Okay, stop. Good. Okay. Let's hold it there. Okay, good. Done. Stand by. Test.
So you can see test, I shot with my, so you see my finger being pressed, and you see the left screen firing.
Very good.
You can see the white flash. So that image came across, and you can see that the efficiency of the speed of it, there's a slight lag, but I think it's negligible. It's fast enough for me to literally see things. It's a half a second lag from the moment I press the button to the flash, then another half second to the image being transmitted to me over Capture One. So all in all, from the moment I press that image, 1 second delay was what I got viewing that image. So it's a very efficient solution in that sense, right? Okay. Here itself, you will see the shoot happening. All right, I'm going to play this video.
Yep, open your mouth a little bit. Expression.
So that's my
Yep, that's good.
assistant Woko trying to get some excitement into the talent.
Okay.
And then if you look at the plan view video, you can see the camera being fired remotely, and you can see the iPad beside the camera. That's
cool.
me, the photographer view, looking at his pose, looking at his expression while it is happening. So I'm toggling between my left screen and my right screen, seeing what's happening live in terms of his expression, and I'm firing and I'm seeing the shot being transmitted to me in terms of what, so that I can actually know, what to anticipate, and then what to shoot, and what's coming in, and what I've got in the back. And then when I've got a couple of images that I'm happy with, then I stop the shoot, I review it, and then we tweak accordingly, right? So in essence, when the shoot is on the way, I have full situational awareness by seeing the various live screen on my left, and then Capture One on my right, firing the camera. So it's this big control center that I have, right here. 2 screens, toggling. I can see stuff happening, live feed. I can see the live images being transmitted to me via Capture One. Full control. I think it's as good as it gets in many ways, right? So that's kind of how we came up with very simple, nothing revolutionary, to be honest. Seriously, it's just common sense, a little bit of ingenuity, and a very willing production company to help me execute this stuff. The first projector that came that they put up wasn't big enough, wasn't wide enough. They had to run out and find a projector, so I had to turn on the tap on them, and oh, guys, we really need this, so they worked really, really hard trying to get stuff to happen. We even had issues, Harriet, with sound, because the studio was very echoey. You remember that?
Yeah.
So to the point where I couldn't really hear the assistant when he spoke to me. I couldn't really hear the talents when they spoke to me. So they had to find ways of having a directional microphone to direct at the model, so that I get better sound from them. And for them to have better sound, they even thought of giving my assistant a Bluetooth headset, so that he can listen to me clearly without the echo of the studio. So these are those very simple things that 2H Productions did, that made the shoot so much more effortless in that sense, so smooth. Mind you, we executed these 6 images in one day, right? We started in the morning. I started at as early as 9 a.m. in Singapore, and it was 8 a.m. for them. And we were sorting small little hiccups along the way in the morning, but we finished the shoot at about 7, didn't we? Right? So it was a decent day's work. Shooting 6 images remotely. On top of that, first time ever. All within a simple day's job. I think that's something to be proud of. I'm so thankful for an amazing production, for example. But what we did do was to create a pre-light day. So the day before the shoot, we did a dry run. We had all the systems going to make sure connection was there. They had to I think even scramble out to make sure they have better internet connection with their provider, so that we get better speed, etc. Things like that, because in Indonesia, internet can be pretty funky, can be pretty slow sometimes. So all these efforts were made to make the shoot just sailing, just cruising along the way. Because I've always said, shooting on the day of shoot should always be as fun, as stress-free as possible. The stress should come from before the shoot. You should be stressing on pre-production. You should be having all your headaches and sort out every single issue with plan B, plan C's in place, so that come shoot day, you the photographer, you the producer, you the assistants, we are all enjoying ourselves. We are just shooting, we're having a good time, because everybody knows what to do, because it's all been planned. And if things doesn't go our way, we have plan B or plan C. You know, that's the way I work, and I've always felt that this is something that has to be done so that the shoot day just becomes so fun. You know, I enjoy most of my shoots because I'm prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, in every way possible, right? Okay, the next few slides, I'm going to show you a little bit of time lapse of the retouching that I did. So the CG company, which was Pastel Productions, which is also owned by Harrod, did the amazing backgrounds for me. They were all done before the shoot in itself. I wanted to do the retouching myself because I felt that I needed that control and that finesse in terms of that overall look. So they clipped the guy out for me. They etched it out. They gave me the 2 files, the background and the etch out of the guy, the 3 files and the etch out of the shadow, right? So with these 3, I put it together, you know, created the color grade, the density, the dodging and burning, and so on and so forth to give you this complete look, so to speak, right? In this next image, here's the close-up, raw, blending, highlighting, grading, and so on and so forth, right? Okay. So here, as you can see, I added a nice amount of density under her feet to give it that wetness in the ground, because obviously she's pouring water. The ground should be a little bit moist with droplets, you know, dots of, or if you do zoom in, there's actually dots on the ground. I mean, obviously this 100 megapixel camera, so everything is like fucking sharp, pin sharp, literally. I can share with you the actual file later. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun to show you. Okay, all right. Next one. Yeah, and I added sky as well into the sunglasses so that it feels a little bit more outdoors, a bit more on location. This was shot in a small studio. So, you know, I was quite challenged when it came to lighting. Of course, you know, I had to create a sunlight, but you know, when you want to create sun, you know, more often than not, your light should be as far away as possible, you know. But this one, I was challenged because my light was 5 meters away from her, you know. So, but we still managed to pull it off because I think, you know, it's just careful placement. You can still get away with hard shadows, right? You know, one of my favorite shots here. Really love the background. So simple. It's just her leaning onto the wall, catching her breath. I love the accent of the skipping rope. I thought that added a little bit of the color punch. Yeah, very simple and clean and elegant. So yeah, you know, so these are the 6 shots. You know, ultimately, you know, these are the 6 shots that we did. Right, shot with the phase 1 IQ4 trichromatic 45 and 80 lens. Very simple, right? Production by 2H. Big shout out to Harrod for, you know, executive producing this. My producer Adi, line producer Marcus, the 2 assistants Woko and Ari, champions, legends. They really made my job easy. Ira, the makeup and hair, which was doing it in another room. And Pastel Studio, you know, who did the CGI. And special thanks to Warren, who provided the camera for me to use. Because obviously, you know, I can't bring I can't ship my my phase 1 camera over to Harrod. Although he owns a phase 1, but it's a different model, and I needed my trichromatic. So yeah. So we called Warren, and he sent, you know, the whole kit over, and we managed to pull this off. All right. Adi, perhaps Adi, can you share with us, you know, the challenges and difficulties in terms of or how difficult I was. Maybe I really pushed you very hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because this is happens in Jakarta in Indonesia when everything is harder, but everything is cheaper.
Okay.
So we just hopefully that the light isn't goes off, but we prepare for the genset just in case the lights is suddenly out, and then we have a backup power electric supply, and that's a very important, especially when we works with the clients, and everything that you just show it us here is like, even though it is new, but it is not entirely new. We just have to put all the camera there, just make it perfect for you to control everything, so that the client and everyone could see it, and then comments as well. So hopefully this remote shot can be a new normal for the industry.
Yes. Because I
I think
think, yeah, I think, if you think about it, moving forward, it could be very challenging for photographers if this carries on.
yeah.
I think you guys and your initiative and to literally do something and not sit on your ass, was spot on. Well done.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I didn't know you had a Jenny. Yeah, I actually, that's what all my other producers used to always do. To have a Jenny on standby, or in fact, don't use the studio's electricity and go entirely on Jenny because that's a lot more reliable, isn't it? Right?
Just cause I figure
Yes. Harriet, do you have anything to add to how much of a asshole I was at pushing everybody and being so difficult?
Actually, for me, it's like I like to learn, and I I always talk with my team, learn something new. When I get like I'm very proud with my team, because when how they can handle you, I think it's made me proud with my team.
You should be. Yeah.
Can they deliver really nice and try to listen you really carefully, and maybe you just meet us for the shoot only 2 days, right? Preparation and shoot. But they did a lot before of that.
I'm sure.
So, and yeah, for me it's really pressure. We really like working with you, and I see it's a lot of passion, a lot of energy make us uh, feel we doing this because we love this industry, because we don't want this industry getting died or something, because only with the small virus. Then for me, we did it a lot of good job.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, we also had an internal workshop with your crew. Remember your team?
Yeah.
Right. We spent a few hours, weeks before the shoot, for me to get to know the team.
Yes.
So Harriet brought his assistants, his producers, even his photographers, and his CG teams and retouchers all into this little Zoom session of his. We spent a few hours, getting to know me, and me just running a workshop, right? Running a workshop to kind of, I wouldn't say educate, but to share with them, my way of working, my expectations, and how I always talk about, how crew should behave, and how productions should be conducted, and so on and so forth. So that kind of set the precedence in terms of how we worked so wonderfully. The synergy was so good. I felt a lovely connection when I spoke about certain things. They got it because we had this wonderful workshop that happened a few weeks ago that that they knew what was coming. Imagine if we didn't have that workshop, and I came down on them, and I'm this and that, and I know I need that, and that they would have gone, Geoff is one of those diva photographers, but they didn't understand that I'm actually just very passionate and very, very excited, creating beautiful images, and if they looked past that, they are on board with me, moving at warp speed, right? We're all moving at warp speed at that point in time. So and that was what made it so fun. I was actually, on a high. I was literally on a high, and I couldn't even come down after the shoot, because we to be honest, I'm very proud of this series of pictures in terms of how we did it. Yeah. And I thank you guys for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Today I just finished remote shoot.
Yes, I saw, I heard.
How did that go? Babies.
Oh man, wow. That's next level, man. Okay, tell us more.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy because the celebrity just allow us only one person come to her house.
Okay.
And we ask them for bring us a little bit time for prepare all the things. So one day before we come to see how we can create everything. The background also CGI with the living room, and yeah, we did it really great shoot today. I cannot imagine I do it like this, but this has happened.
Yeah.
I
well
think,
done.
Yeah, I think when this has happened, like remote shoot, the one things is the really good things. We learn so much. Like when you set up the lighting, so I learned how you set up the lighting, how to get the information is switched. So I did it with other photographer from Jogja, other city. Also like that, I teach them how to manage the light and everything. So most of them is wedding photographer, and now he have a portfolio with commercial.
Okay.
I did some shoot with other photographer also from other city. So I think this is really good, and yeah, we think we will make kind of online workshop. So yeah, people can try the lighting setup, what you did, and we like we try to bring information back to back. I think this will be good.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice. And I think if you think about it, this whole remote shooting really makes it very okay. I mean, shooting in itself, is already very challenging. When you are in the studio, right? So when we are shooting remotely as photographers, I felt like I had to dig quite deep into my experience, into have already somewhat done, physically done this setup sometime months, years ago, and I brought all that experience and knowledge in my head to be able to get your assistants and your team to do those things with an image or a approach that has been proven. You know what I mean? In that sense, while I was remotely doing it. Do I make sense? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Right, in that sense. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's already very difficult shooting something in the studio when you're even there, and to remotely do it when you're not even there is, to be honest, compounded 2 times, 3 times. And the remote photographer really needs to dig deep into his experience of having positioned that light there, and knowing by positioning that light there at that height, at that power, he's going to get what result. I think that's what I'm trying to say even more clearly, or else he'll be farting around remotely, for hours, not getting what he envisions, he or she envisions, and then it's going to be a very long drawn process. So I think my experience, of my years as a photographer is really just compounded and being squashed into the next few remote shoots that might happen. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we should do it again.
Oh yes. Actually, this afternoon, Delvin from Malaysia, asked an amazing question. He asked, "What is more tiring, shooting remotely or physically shooting in before, when you're in the studio?" And I thought that was an amazing question, because I can tell you for a fact that shooting remotely is 10 times more tiring than shooting physically, right? Right. I mean, you have to be so emotionally and connected to whatever is there, and you need to project yourself there and think in a very abstract way. And you're seated. I was fucking sitting on this chair right here for like a good 8 to 10 hours, right? Not bloody moving, looking left and right. It's so different from a actual shoot, because actual shoot I can walk around, I can go to the coffee stand and make a cup of coffee, and all these little things just allows me to just chill a little. But this one is boom next. If I'm not doing this, I'm doing something else, and it was just constant. The engagement was very high. So it is definitely a lot more intense on an emotional level. Physically, I may be very comfortable. I'm not tired at all physically. To be honest, I didn't stand. Right. Usually, if I do look at my Apple Watch, I clock kilometers within the studio. The amount of times I'm walking within the studio. I go back and go 10,000 steps. Wow, what the fuck? Today I walked 10,000 steps in the studio that can hold 20 cars. You know what I mean? Which is quite phenomenal. And here I'm just so sucked in terms of the juice, the drain of yeah. Okay. Jan has a question. How is the latency when you shoot? Yeah, as I was saying before, there is a half-second delay when I fire the shot. So when I press on capture one, shoot, I will see my left screen. Half a second later, the flash will go off. And then half a second later, the image will appear on capture one. So it dings to the left and then it comes back to the right. So the whole process from the point I press the button to the point I see the image on capture one is about a second. So there's definitely that lag, but that's something that is all comes down to timing. For example, I needed to do an action shot of the talent running to create a shadow, for example, the running shadow. I had to get the talent to run 3 steps before, and then I fire. By the time that happens, it's just blending everything into the perfect timing where I needed the person to be. So yes, exactly, really, probably something to that effect. Yeah, in terms of all that trigger and distance traveling, transmission and everything. Yeah, right. Yes, that's the delay, so to speak. But you adjust in terms of how you time things, in terms of how you control your talent, how you anticipate something. So there's a lot of anticipation when you're shooting. When I'm seeing something moving, on my live screen, when something is moving, I'm anticipating already, and I'll trigger in anticipation of that movement, for example. So that's kind of how I did it. Delvin, no, I did not use a hard box. I used a bare bulb. So just a bare bulb firing to create that sun. This was actually, as much as you see is one light, as much as you see is one light, it's actually 3 lights. One hard bulb, bare bulb coming down hard onto the talent, 2 lights bounce up into the ceiling to create that sky, right? The bright white sky. Yeah. So that's a three light approach that looks like one light. Yeah. I usually do that. I do a lot of this kind of, multiple lights to look like one light, or vice versa, so to speak. Yeah. So yes, Jan, definitely needs some anticipation, which requires concentration. Yes, exactly. A lot of anticipation, and yes, that was definitely something that drained me big time. Yeah, yeah, very, very refreshing. Okay. Any questions as it comes? In the meantime, if you guys would like, perhaps maybe I could share with you the PSD files. Would you like to see that? I can share with you the PSD. Let me switch that on. Projector was triggered manually. It was triggered manually by the assistants. So when I was positioning talent, or if I was positioning camera or lighting, I'll get the assistants to switch on the projector. So I'll just say projector on, they'll switch it on, and then we will move things around. And then when I'm done, I will switch it off. Projector off, and then we will just shoot from there. Yeah. Although we could actually have a projector with a wider lens so that we can really cast edge to edge of the studio. So I guess that could be challenging. All right, I'm going to share screen now. Projector switch on, or if you could control what to project, you could draw on it to illustrate to the people on set as well. Yeah, for sure. I guess, yeah, totally. I could probably take over Team Viewer on the projector's computer as well. But that would also mean my control center will be like 3 screens big, I think that's a bit much, but fascinating approach. I think that's an interesting way of doing things as well. Yeah, if you think about the Star Wars Mandalorian, right? They are shooting all on this projection screen now. That's the new tech, when it comes to film movies and so on and so forth, where things are literally projected in the background, where you shoot everything in one shot instead of green screen and so on and so forth. So definitely a way to go. Even if it's not remote shooting, this is something that we could be doing more of in the near future. I've done it before. I've done it for my Sam Willows video, where I had 4 projector screens running in the background to create that realistic looking car scene of my music video. And if you think about it, in the film, in the movie industry today, a lot of those car driving scenes are all shot in the studio, and the outside moving shots are all projectors, right? And they are using the projection to light the talent itself as well. So they don't really have to light the talent so much. So it's a very practical lighting. They don't, it doesn't look fake. When you got a neon sign passing, you get the color of the neon sign touching the face, for example. So it's very real. And I think that makes things look a little bit more realistic. Okay, so I'll share with you here my what is it? My PSD. Let me move this aside. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah. Maybe I should move this in. Let you see my. Yeah. Okay. Hang on now. Let me just recalibrate the heights. Okay. Cool. You guys are seeing it, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So, it started off like this, right? This is the raw in terms of the background. A lot of dodging and burning, creating the dirt, the density. Because if you think about it, the edges of any wall when it's outside, rain, sun, dust, they all collate, they all gather at the edges, right? So that was something that I I physically went in and I drew and dodged and burned to create that density of dirt at the edge of the wall, for example, right? And then we have the shadow, maybe too soon. Okay. The talent itself, as you can see here, and then we have the shadow, right? And then let me just zoom in here, right? Right. So you can see here different layers of shadows. Let me push this aside. Different layers of shadows to create that density of the shadow as well, and the color of the shadow to cool it down a little, and then a little bit more density in the bottom. If you look at the shoe here, this layer to create that little bit of density as well, right? So that's shadow, the guy itself, and then I went in and started dodging and burning, painting in all the various things that I wanted to be more dense. And to be honest, only with a proper camera with proper tonal range, you can really do all the recovery. You can really push the pixels to the limit, and do all this kind of tonal massaging, right? You are massaging all the pixels to make it brighter, to make it darker, to create that nice richness, crispiness to the image, for example, right? Yeah, all very, very small details. So yeah, zooming into the shot, as you can see, right? Very, very crispy, very, very sharp, right down to the hair, in the background, right? So, at 100 megapixels, my raw image, if you look at my raw image, right? I think my box was, going back to my raw image. Let me see if I have it. I have it here, I believe. Let me just grab that. Remote shoot. Final selects, right? So boxer main there, right? So if you look at the file, the guy probably took up 15% of the entire frame in terms of real estate, in terms of pixels, right? So at 15% of the entire 100 megapixels, so you're looking at literally this image of this guy is what? If you look at 100 megapixels, 15 megapixel, literally, right? And I'm putting it and dropping it into a fairly large background, and so on and so forth. It really allows for that sharpness, for everything to just marry together and making it so clean, as well. Yeah, right, as you can see here. Okay, cool. And then even if you look down at the feet, right there, see, the ground is so nice. The match in terms of the pixels, the quality of the ground, right? Right to the edge, I made it a lot more dirty as well. Stuff like that. You have to create that realism, right? And nothing's too small. No detail is too small to clean, right? Okay. Alrighty. So I'll show you the next one, the close up maybe. So this is the close up. Let's see now. The background itself, the background, the talent itself, shading, a little bit of highlight. These are just bringing up the detail in the hair and the edges, dodging and burning these few things, grading it down, right, crushing it down. I done my initial color grade in Capture One, but then I obviously with CG it's a separate grade. It's a separate grade, so I have to bring the two grades to come together and marry them in terms of how it looks. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of the shot. So as you can see just now, my assistant was framing this shot for me. through live view. I told him move left, move right. Okay, stop. That's perfect. So this was literally framed using live view, right? Alrighty. Next one, runner. Let me show you the runner. Alrighty. So here's the runner shot, right? Background. Yeah. Okay. The edge, that little embankment thing, and then colors. Oh, sorry, shading. Right. A lot of tedious mishmash, right? And then the talent itself, right? Shadow. Yeah. Here, as you can see, I added a density. Here into the ground, right? Added a little bit of density here into the ground, and I created droplets as well, dots, just to make it feel a little bit more realistic, right? From the droplets that's coming down on her, right? If you look at it, okay. And then some small details here, adding the water, adding the splash. Because I took the splash from another shot, I wasn't happy with the built-in shot. So that's something that I had to do. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So this is the shot itself. Yeah, there. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Let me share with you the close-up. So as you can see, it's reading large document format because my files, if you look here, are all 1 gig, 2 gigs. Yeah, that's the size of the PSD. Anything above 1 gig, you got to save it under large document. You can't save it as a PSD. It becomes a PSB. Yeah. Okay. So here, this is the go. Again, starts off with a background. Okay. Is there somebody trying to come in? Hang on, let me stop. Hang on 1 second. Let me admit, then I come back again. Then I come back in again. All right. Yeah. Brian ran off. Okay. All right. So here I had to create 2 different layers of the background to get it to blur even further in the background, for example, so that it feels more natural. Shading of the background, creating some density in the background, some vignettes, and so on and so forth. The talent, right? Again, dodging and burning, creating some density in the shadow area like this. Popping up the eyes, getting in the catch light, shading the entire image in terms of the shadow area, darkening the hand. The hand was a bit too bright because her hand is fairer. The inside of the palm is usually fairer. Yeah. Okay. A little bit more darkening just to crush it down a little bit more. Color grade it itself a little bit, pop the contrast a little bit more, tweak the selective coloring to give it a nice rich skin tone. Putting in a sky here, as you can see in my sunglasses, created some sky, right, for both lenses so that it feels like it's reflecting the sky above, for example, and then some noise. Yeah, I mean, here is the trichromatic at its best. Look at the sharpness of the hair, the paw and everything. I was shooting relatively shallow because I wanted that fall off. Yeah, but very, very happy with this shot. The shadows and everything. Yeah. Okay, then we have the skipper, one of my favorites. I think that's Adi's favorite as well. He loves it a lot. Maybe he likes the go.
I like the picture. Beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, the raw background. Again, I had to treat the background and wear it down a little to make it feel a little bit more realistic, a little bit more lived in. By darkening the ground, the edges, all these little things, had to be done. All the crevices where dust gathers over time, getting it a little bit more worn out, creating that grit, right? And then, nope, sorry, here. Then plonking her in, as you can see here, right? And then the shadow. This whole thing is all for shadows. And then, quite a bit of dodging and burning again. As you can see, I built my layers and the final crush of the curves to create that nice uniformity. Right. Okay. So again, let me just zoom in. Let me just show you some details here. Right. Okay. Yeah. So look at the grounding, look at the shadows, everything, it feels very, very there. You know what I mean? Right. Okay. Then we have the close-up. Is there somebody coming in again? How do I do this? Brian, are you there? Can you? Okay. Admit. Cool. Alrighty. I'll take this aside. So this is the close-up, right? Background, crushing of the background, wearing it down a little, placing the girl in, the shadow behind, right? Working on contrast, darkening down the hand again. Always this bit here is always fairer. Yeah. So you just crush it down a little, because there's a far light source will always create a certain amount of evenness in the light. It's because the light source was too close within a closed studio that it picked up the fairness in the skin, for example, right? A desaturation, curves to crush everything down to create this nice contrasting image, right? Some drawing of the hair. I believe this is the hair. If you can see the hair here, I drew in some hair to make it a little bit more. And yeah, a trichromatic in its full glory. Nice and crispy and sharp. How beautiful is that? Right? Yeah, so that pretty much sums up the 6 images that I did. All right. Maybe I can show you the raw images. So this is the raw shadow, for example, the raw, right? This is the water shot. This is the water shot. So I wanted a separate shot of the water. Yeah. So we grabbed the water as one, and then the main shot of her here, because the water wasn't as impactful here. As you can see, there wasn't enough splatter. So we brought in a separate, yeah. So this is the raw as well. And then we have the main shot, the shadow shot, right? And the close-up shot, as you can see. Right. That's it, folks. That's really it. Alrighty. Any other questions? Let me see. Zia Photography from Bangladesh. Oh, lovely. Oh, thanks to Delvin for inviting. Yeah. I have a question. Can you please let me know what kind of software you mostly use for CGI background? I can't answer that. That is maybe something the CG guys got to answer. Adi, Harrod, are you able to answer what CG software they use? No idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
No idea.
Okay. Wen Hao, are you there?
Yo.
What CG softwares do you usually use? You CG guys.
We use Maya, but there's always
Uh-huh.
3D Studio Max, and then I think
Right.
right now there's a free one called Blender, which is getting
Right.
really popular and really is good. So I would try Blender now, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
free, and
Yeah. Oh, wow.
and it's got
Okay.
everything.
There you go, Zia Photography. Go for Blender. It's free and you can do wonders. you know. All right. Cool. From Rashimi, can the last image, can you please show it again? Which last image? You missed it. Okay. Alrighty. Let me do that for you. In terms of what? The PSD file? The girl standing with a skipping rope? PSD? Alrighty. Only for you. Here we go. Hang on. Let me share screen. Cool. All right. There we go. Okay. Hang on, let me just get the chat box going so that I can see you guys. All right, yeah. Yeah, this is the PSD, right? As you can see, the detail. Okay. All right. I'll do a quick one for you, only for you. Everybody has seen it already. Okay, you have all the shadows for the background plate. Then you have the talent being put in, the shadow being put in, all the various layers for the shadow, and all the various layers of for the girl. So three different sets: shadow, girl, background, and finessing of it in itself. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Going back to questions. Let's see now. Right. All. Maya is nice. Correct. All right, man. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Anything that I can answer, or Harriet or Adi can answer? I think end of the day is about just just being you know inventive, and being ingenious in terms of very practical things and finding a solution to problems. I've always said this, right? Be a problem solver, never the problem. And I think this came, in a very awesome way, because we are all very like-minded people. Harriet, myself, Adi, the team at 2H, all of us, had a very clear goal about wanting to create fucking amazing images. And with that single idea, we all came together, we all found solutions. Again, it's not revolutionary. We did not reinvent the wheel. We didn't do anything special. It's just finding bits and pieces and then packaging it and making it productive. I think the we need to create a sense of confidence, a sense of productivity, on set while the shoot's happening, to give your clients, in terms of the creative, the ad agencies or the clients who are on the Zoom call, when they see all these things happening and they see that the shoot is very smooth, even though they are not there, you are not there, and so on and so forth. It gives a lot of confidence. It gives a lot of you know um, ability for everybody to work in that way, which again, yeah, this could potentially be the new normal moving forward. As much as we say, oh, it's opening up, I can start shooting again, I can go and shoot, and so on and so forth. Yeah, sure, but we don't know. The situation is so fluid right now, right? Everybody's running out, eating and hanging out, that God knows if a second wave comes, and if that comes, we are all stuck back in our pigeonholes again, and we are screwed for the next month or so again. And I've got to make a living. You know what I mean? I've got a family to feed. I don't have deep pockets. At some point, money will run out, right? I mean, that's the reality. All of us, as much as I have some savings, but it's dwindling month after month. It is fucking dwindling, right? That's the reality. So we all need to seriously look a little bit further, and have certain things in place, right? Yeah. what does the client see live? The client is being brought into the Zoom, so they see all my different screens. They are on the same Zoom session, like what you are doing with all the multiple screens of different people. Yeah, they are all in that Zoom session. So potentially this entire panel right now could potentially be the entire shoot. You know, every single person of you could be one person from the agency, one advertising executive, one art director, three clients. They are all called into this, and they're seeing everything live. And then we could even have another screen to let them see the capture one screen as well, so that they can see the images. And then we are also pushing a higher resolution image to a WhatsApp group, perhaps, that they can see a better file. Because Zoom tends to be a bit, definitely pixelated. They can't really see a proper image. So we are ready to process a low-res JPEG that is mobile friendly, that can be sent to a creative, a client immediately via WhatsApp for them to see a better resolution of that image, for example. All right. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that we do. Okay.
Yes, Jeff.
Yeah. Any other questions for any one of us? Adi, Harriet, myself. Cool. All right, guys. If that's the case, it's a wrap. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I should thank you, Harriet, big time, for doing this. A quick shout out again. Raw and Camera Rental Center (CRC) have been collaborating, and I want to talk a little bit about equipment. Whatever I'm doing, you can very easily rent from CRC. They have special packages, and they will do deliveries to you, so you don't have to go out and risk yourself, or get stuck in outside. So please, whatever that I may be sharing, or whatever that you see, we are professionals. We make it look easy. Okay. But it really isn't that easy. So do yourself a favor, go out there, rent a light, buy a light. If you don't have something, go out there, physically do the shoot, physically play with it, so that you can get that much better as a photographer. Because if you just attend Zoom sessions and watch YouTube videos and see photographers like myself talking about how I did this and did this, and you go, okay, I know how to do also, what looks very easy. Okay, go do it yourself. You know what I mean? It's it sounds really arrogant for me to say this, but it really isn't that easy. So I strongly encourage all of you guys to go out there, experiment, try it out, fuck around, play with the light, because there's just so much you can do. Okay, so get in touch with CRC, mention RAW, and you get some discounts. You get free delivery as well. And another thing we want to say is RAW currently is doing huge promotions with our studio rentals. Maybe Brian, you want to talk a little bit about the studio rentals for me?
Yep.
I'm
Okay,
thirsty.
just a minute.
Okay, and then talk about our new studio as well. Do you have those pictures? Maybe you can share screen.
Ready, so everyone can see. Yeah, can you see?
Awesome. Yes.
Okay. So so for those who have no idea what RAW is about, you have heard about us for the last 2 months. You've seen our faces right here, but for those who have not been to RAW, this is how.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So this is actually the front room where. Okay.
Brian, connection a bit funky. Yeah.
This is actually the. Okay. Let me change my connection. Okay. Better.
Yeah. Better. Yep. Carry on, please.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what Raw is about is that we have like it's a co-sharing space for photographers. It's also a community space, a community studio that we have built for the last 3 years. So this is actually some revamping that we have done over, before even circuit breaker, and then we wanted to roll it out. Unfortunately, circuit breaker happened. So we recently just did a major overhaul and housekeeping, and then we clean up everything so it's safe for you to come in. So this is actually how it looks like inside our space. We have a chill out area here. This is the workroom where there's 2 monitors for photographers to use, and also this space itself, we have converted it into another studio, which I will show you. It's amazing. This is a place where you can do your thinking. Okay, so if you need a space for inspiration or to chill, yep, this is the space for you. Of course, this is our studio. Everything in our studio is by Pro Photo. We have another set of lightings as well. This is by Aperture. So Aperture is for LED. So if you guys are shooting video or you want to shoot with continuous light, yeah, we have it all for you. So you have the lantern, you have a beauty dish, you have like the domes, and everything that you see here is all provided for you as part of the rental. Yep. Similarly for all these things that you've seen here. Of course, there are other things that you don't see here that but those are available as well if you ask us. Okay, it's a beautiful daylight studio as well, simply because if you don't want to use light or don't want to use flash, don't want to use the LED lights, you just want to shoot all natural, there you have beautiful, beautiful light in the morning. It's reflected off the opposite side of the building coming back. And then in the afternoon, you get direct sunlight in, you get beautiful shadows as well. Okay, another look. If you can see, earlier on, we did some demos on our satellite and we remodeled the satellite studio to look like ours. And you can see the concrete wall and things like that. On the other side is a clean white wall. Yep. So this is the interesting part. So we created a food and product photography studio right downstairs where you get beautiful skylight coming down. At the same time, you get these two uh, really, really sexy strip light from Profoto. I believe that these are the two dinosaurs that still exist in our studio right now. Yeah, it's unique to us, kind of.
I believe these are the only two. I heard there's one more in Singapore somewhere, but this is the other two that exist. This is a very special edition light by Profoto by this flash maker called light designer called Bat. He collaborated with Profoto to create this strip light. The beauty of this strip light is the fact that they are acrylic, so you don't get the creases of the softbox fabric, and it's really clean line. So you get really clean reflections, for example. Really good for beverage, really good for bottles, for food. Hence why we decided to bring it down. This is actually my personal stash, to bring it down and put it up for rental to let you use and shoot food in conjunction and in unison with the daylight that could create quite interesting results in this small little space. You can move around within this amazing downstairs area.
Yeah. So besides the daylight, of course, anything in the studio that that there's a provider upstairs can be used downstairs as well. So this space itself is perfect for you if you have, for example, if you want to do a food shoot and then you have a chef to come in to prepare food, everything. This space is big enough for you to set the food up and then do your cleanup in the pantry behind, and then or delivery with a direct door access, and then shoot everything in that small room there. So yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting if you are going to go into food or product photography, especially where the demand is actually surging right now. Yeah. So yeah, so currently we have 2 space. This is also for you if you want to do portraits. For example, if our studio upstairs is being booked up and you urgently need to do like a couple of portraits, and then we could set up a small space for you like that to shoot your portraiture headshots and things like that for your clients. So I think our studio has been quite transformable into multiple ways that everybody can make use of at very affordable pricing. Yeah. So the promotional pricing, everything will be on our Facebook page. So do drop by.
Okay, you're breaking. Yeah, so do drop by Raw.
Even a couple of hours. Yeah, it all works for you.
So you just broke up.
Just
and
drop us a message.
Yeah, just drop us a message. I was trying to fill in the blanks for you. Okay. Yeah, check us out on Facebook. Let us know. Our studio manager Daniel or Alex will be available to show you around the studio if you're near. Just give us a call, drop us a text, on our social platforms, and if you are there, come on in, check out the space. We'll be very, very happy to show you around. Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Harrods and Adi for everything. Wishing your son a lovely happy birthday. Is he behind?
Yeah.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday, Anna. Happy birthday.
Uncle Jeff. Happy birthday.
Selamat ulang tahun.
How old are you?
How old are you now?
8. I see. Bagus.
I'm Ultraman Jack.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, brother.
Thank
I'll
you so
see you soon.
much.
We'll talk again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you.